It's actually grotesquely hot. It's one of those days. One of those grotesquely hot days. So I had to throw water over myself, cold water. Hey Mr. Subin, welcome. And of course, you can have cards. That's what we're doing here today, I guess. Reading tarot cards. Welcome. It's been a difficult morning. Nothing seems to be going right. Well, the important things are going right. The inconveniences and triggers are minor. Very minor. I just gotta look the other way and pretend they're not happening. So I don't fixate and obsess about them. And just apply solutions. Like the oracle says. Okay, general reading for Subin. Two of Cups in reverse. So this card, it is about self-love. It's in the past, but it's about self-love. It's about giving yourself nourishment. And giving yourself, I hope this is loud enough, I don't know. Giving yourself the care that you need and looking after yourself, eating properly, drinking enough water. My video is low. What does that mean? My audio is low, video is low. I don't know what that means, Subin. You need to give yourself attention. That's what this card is talking about in the past. Saying you haven't been like cutting your nails, cutting your hair, shaving your beard, washing regularly, eating healthily, drinking enough water. It's saying you've neglected those sorts of things. Not resting when you need to rest, pushing yourself beyond your limits. And then you ask yourself why? Why am I struggling? Why am I failing at this or that or whatever? And you realize I need to take better care of myself. If I stay clean, I won't feel so miserable. If I keep my space clean, I don't feel so overwhelmed. Realizing that that's what needs to happen, that will help you, but they're not actually doing it, you know? You see, that's where the potential is, to find some balance, but not actually doing it. In the present, I've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. This is the same as your last reading. It was talking about having all of these ideas in your mind, good ideas, setting goals, making plans, but not actually doing it. So your cards haven't really changed, Subin. Since the last reading you got, your cards haven't changed, which means you haven't taken the advice that the cards have given you. You haven't applied it. Future interval number 19. In reverse, the Sun. So this card is about authenticity. It's about existing authentically. Your voice is low. Thank you. That makes more sense. My voice is low. my voice is low. My voice is much louder than the music, so maybe just turn your volume up, dude. Okay. Okay. Seems to get lower and lower every day. I don't change the settings, but again and again people are complaining about the same issue. It seems so far away all of a sudden. Anyway. This card wants you to be authentic. It wants to warn you that people are going to place expectations on you. They're going to expect you to, sacrifice of yourself for their sake. Give of yourself in ways that you can't. Change who you are for their sake. Behave differently, act differently, do more than you actually can. Let go of your own responsibilities and your own priorities for theirs. And that is a terrible idea. That will make this situation even worse. Situation of being drained and overwhelmed and uncomfortable, tired, that will just get worse. This card, it tells you to be authentic and prioritize yourself, take care of yourself, focus on your projects, water your own seeds. And when you're doing that, when you're existing authentically, the people in your life get inspired, and they get inspired by you, and they see you as an example. The projects that you work on and the things that you do, they prosper and they're abundant because you're doing it authentically. You radiate energy authentically like the sun. But if you're deliberately trying to please people or change the way that you do things for others' sake, you get depleted, completely depleted, until you have nothing more to give. So this card just wants to warn you of that. Not to sacrifice of your authenticity. It's kind of saying that this is why your Two of Cups is reversed. This is why you don't take care of yourself the way you should be. This is why you're always in the planning stage, never applying it, because others are expecting too much of you, so that there's no space or time for your own priorities. And that needs to change. One of my lights stopped working as I was going live. It was so interesting. It just died. The bell was fine. I don't know what broke. Something broke. And yeah. I'm sure I did, Subin. I'm sure I did. I said this is about not taking care of yourself properly. I'm sure I said that like right now. Not drinking enough water, not eating enough, not keeping your hygiene up to date, not keeping your room tidy. And this is like saying that nothing has changed. The cards is exactly the same as the last time I read for you. You're still thinking, you got all these good ideas, you got all of these good plans, but you never do anything about it. You never actually do anything. And this card, yeah, it's saying that it's because there is too much expectation of you. People, you're changing who you are for others. You're sacrificing your own projects, your own priorities, for the sake of family, for the sake of friends, for the sake of pleasing others, and that needs to stop. You can't do that. You're not leaving enough space for your own self-care or your own priorities. Sure. You're welcome. 1, 2, 1, 2 and a half, almost 3. Okay, I'll go and change that. I don't know. I guess I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. It doesn't seem to matter what time I wake up in the morning. There's just not enough time in a day. Just not enough. Not enough time to cook and clean and do washing and clean myself and take care of all the responsibilities on the farm and streaming. It's just not enough time. Doesn't matter what time I wake up. Doesn't matter how late I go to bed or how early I wake up. It's just not enough time. Welcome, Kay. I ask myself, like, I feel overwhelmed, so I say, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to make progress when my highest priorities leave no space for each other, and leave no room for each other? How do I do that? Yes, Kay, I am doing readings. If you'd like one, I can do one for you anytime. Where was I? Yeah, how can I make progress when my highest priorities, maintaining this household and supporting my family, how can I, when they don't leave space for each other, when if I'm dedicating my time, if I'm going to choose the day to look after the house and make sure it's clean and take care of the farm, I have no time to do any kind of financial work. And if I focus on that, then there's no time for maintaining the house. And so I ask, how can I do it? And I hear my wisdom say back to me, endurance isn't enough. Like, you can't just knuckle down and endure and expect things to change or get better. You have to meet the level of endurance you're giving with an equal amount of creativity. Okay, great. That makes sense. Sure. So I look and I'm like, okay, what can I do? And I'm like, alright, I can bring the pig food closer to the pigs. I can put up a little, like, temporary shelter where the containers will go, and I can move all the chickens to one location instead of having them spread out. They can be in one location. Pigs as well, one location. Food in the same location as the pigs and chickens. Water in the same location as pigs and chickens. And cut out a lot of time. Can cut down the time it takes to feed the animals in the mornings and evenings by half at least, or more. Can turn it from a 45-minute episode into like a 10-minute episode. Great, but that's not enough. What else? What else can I shift? Not sure. Today I was looking at the studio and I was like, okay, if these lights were actually built into the walls and ceilings and they weren't just hanging on hooks, there'd be less wiring, and I wouldn't have to untangle wires or figure out wires and shit before I stream. Fantastic. Creative solutions. What else though? It's okay, I'm going to do a general reading for you since you haven't specified a question. What general guidance the spirits have for Kay? It's not too late to ask a question, Kay. It's not too late. I know I already shuffled a lot of it, but it's not too late. So Subin is saying reduce the volume of the music again. How does that even work? The mic volume is like way up and the music volume is like barely audible. Is it bothering you, Kay? Can you hear me speak? Because Subin can't hear me speak. You would like insights on this Libra you've been talking to. My voice is kind of delayed and it breaks up with the music. My voice is delayed. Interesting. 1, 2 and a half. My ping is 2.5 seconds, and that's what the delay is set to. So I don't know what I can do about that, but the volume of the music, I guess I can just turn it off completely. Okay, maybe that's better. The mouth moves and then the words come out after. That's so strange because usually like you hear the sound of my voice and then you see my mouth move. But anyway, hopefully it's better now. Insights on this Libra you've been talking to. Okay. 9 of discs in reverse. So past relationships. This talks about past relationships. So we're living in the space with someone else, or having to share space with someone else, even if it's briefly. Not being able to agree on things, having conflicts and disagreements about what you're gonna eat, where you're gonna go on a date, that sort of thing. And this card talks about reflecting on it, looking back and like trying to understand why that was the case. The card in reverse says that you're like tending to blame the other person for any issues that were there. Also tending to blame the environment, tending to blame family, tending to just blame instead of taking responsibility. It's like the card is saying that you had a part to play. Yes, they had a part to play. Yes, family did have an influence, but you also had a part to play, and you're missing that when you self-reflect on why past relationships might have had difficulties or resistances. You're missing your own part to play. You can see everyone else's faults, not your own. You can see everyone else's successes, not your own. It's just showing up to say to you, hey, you can't downplay your own breakthroughs, and you can't neglect to acknowledge your own mistakes. If you don't acknowledge your mistakes, you end up repeating them. If you don't acknowledge your breakthroughs, you can't repeat them. So it's important. In the present, I have an 8 of Swords. So this card is like saying, I have goals, and there's a specific kind of person or character that lives those goals. I have plans, and there are certain requirements of my habits and lifestyle that are compatible with those goals. And this card is like you picking that reality up, picking up those habits, you're shifting into that reality. And trying to become the person you have to be in order to see your goals accomplished, in order to live within your plans, to fulfill your plans. And yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, certain habits will get in the way of your goals. Certain lifestyle will be detriment to your goals. So you let go of that and you adapt new goals, and you adapt new habits and new lifestyle. So how does this apply to the relationship, to this Libra you're talking to? So I'm kind of feeling like he is expressing interest in you, like he's led you to believe he's got some kind of interest in you, but you're unsure if you should go ahead with that. Excuse me, 1 second. My battery's about to die. Well, what do you know? Lights, camera, action. So it had nothing to do with the wiring of the bulb in the night. Interesting. What was I saying here? It's like he's expressed interest in you, but you're unsure if you should go ahead with that. You're unsure how that's going to affect your goals and your plans, particularly where it comes to your education. I don't know if you're still in school, or if you're in university or whatever, but the goals you're shifting into, they require that you learn something. Okay, so it's not talking about you struggling with a decision, it's talking about him struggling with a decision. Okay, so for him, he doesn't know if a relationship is going to be compatible with his goals. Like, he's choosing new goals, he's choosing like a new period. He needs to make shifts in his habits and his lifestyle in order to be compatible with that outcome, with those plans. And he's busy going through those changes, and now there's this opportunity for a relationship, and he feels like it's part of old cycles, you know. He's busy letting go of habits and lifestyle, and now it's like possibly a distraction. He's uncertain if the relationship will distract him or take him away from what he's working for. Thinking about going back to school. Interesting. That card, its advice for you is that whatever your mission is, like, you want a certain lifestyle, you want a certain level of security and a certain level of education, you want a certain level of like focus, faculty, and security and lifestyle, and so you're considering going back to school. That card just wants to say to you that whatever your goals are, there are certain topics that you're going to need to learn in order to realize those dreams, to realize those goals. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back to school. You can research the topics of your own. You can do an online course. There are many options available to you, but yes, there is a certain amount of education that will be required. Future interval is adjustment. Number 8 of the trumps. This card is about re-establishing balance in your life. The card is not reversed. The card is the right way around. So this is balance in every aspect of your life. It's balance in how much emotional energy you give out into the people you care about in your relationships. It's about how much you're earning. It's about how much you're spending. It's about all of those things, and you just want to have balance. Attaining balance for yourself. this relationship is not, it's not a balance. You are giving more emotional energy into this relationship and more focus, and you worry about it and you stress about it, and it takes up a lot of your time and energy and focus, and that's not balanced. And you're not receiving as much energy from it as you're giving. It's not balanced. So what advice does it have for you about re-establishing balance? I guess what it wants to say to you is focus on, don't let it take away from your life. Maybe he's playing with you, maybe he's not, that's not important. But the amount of energy you're giving to the relationship, even though it's not yet a relationship, it's taking away from the other aspects of your life, like self-care, like education, like creative projects. It's taking time and energy away from those things. So give that energy and time and focus back to those things. Maybe the relationship will come, maybe not, but don't fixate on it, don't obsess about it, and don't let it consume your time and energy. That is what the cards have to say to you. So the reason, it's saying to you, the reason he is playing this game is because he wants the relationship, but he's also not sure if it's going to be compatible with his own education and his own dreams and his own goals. So he's sitting between the fence because he wants the relationship, and he wants attention, and he wants sexual gratification. So he's playing on the fence, but at the same time he's like, actually I can't afford to get into a relationship now. So yeah. And then this 9 of discs is here to say to you, you also have a part to play in his uncertainty. Like, you not trusting him, if you don't trust him, he's not trusting you. So whatever you're feeling towards him, he's probably feeling towards you as well. That's kind of how emotions work in a relationship. It bounces back and forth like a mirror. So if you're talking to him with feelings of mistrust, he's going to feel that mistrust in himself as well. If you're talking to him with feelings of frustration, he's going to feel that frustration as well. That's just how emotions work. And this card is saying that you're neglecting to see your own part to play in the resistances. Like, you feel these resistances, you have a part to play as well. Yes, he has a part to play. The environment has a part to play, but you do too. So he is playing some kind of game. Well, what is going to happen now? Because I just got mad at him and I pretty much think it's done. Change is going to happen. Maybe, no, the relationship might not fall apart. It's not here in the cards. That adjustment card is talking about change, and it's change for the better. It gives you more space and time for yourself and your projects and your goals, and it gives him more space and time for his projects. It brings more balance to your life. With all of these difficult emotions, mistrust, anger, all of these feelings, it creates disharmony and it leaves you unbalanced in your life. Your emotional self, your physical self, your mental self, every aspect of yourself becomes unbalanced. So what I'm seeing in the future is you just recovering balance and him recovering balance. Whether that balance requires the relationship ends, I don't know. It just talks about change. Something's going to change, and that change is going to bring about balance, allow you to recover your balance and your authenticity. By the way, I am hosting a little giveaway. I'm giving away a tarot deck. So, to get into the raffle, you gotta help me meet my goals. Yeah, because I need to take the stream off grid. Most of it's here. I've got an inverter, solar charge controller, solar panel, gas geyser, gas stove, gravity powered water. I'm pretty much there, but that's all come out of my own pocket, and I need a little bit of help recovering those expenses. So to add some incentive, I'm like running a little raffle. $9 tip, $9 donation to go towards the solar grid, solar system. That'll put you into the raffle for the giveaway. Mr. Subin wants a stone. Subin, I think that stones and crystals and spells are not really going to help you at this point, nor prayers. Because like your cards keep saying to you, you're spending too much time on the spell, you're spending too much time on the magic, spending too much time on the prayer, on the plan, on the thoughts, ideas. It's all going on up here, and none of it is becoming real. There's like a blockage between the thoughts and reality. And so I don't think any amount of stones are going to help you, buddy. You need to make a change in the way you behave. You need to start taking action, changing your lifestyle, changing your habits, changing your routine. Your future is defined by today. What you do today defines what tomorrow will look like. And that's just law. That's just universal law. You have to do something creative today to change tomorrow. And you've got all of these ideas, all these creative ideas, but you're not doing any of it, so nothing changes. And that needs to change. You need to start doing something. No amount of crystals are going to help you do something. You need to do it yourself. Just don't bother me, fly. Please. Please don't bother me. Thank you. Having a look to see if I've got any messages on Discord. Okay, thank you for your recognition, and please like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm glad that you received value and you found the advice to be sound and applicable. Yeah, I hope it brings about a positive resolution. I mean, the cards say it will, you know? Cards are saying that it's going to result in balance. Nope, no replies. Bottom line is, you don't have to avoid insanity. You have to avoid letting others convince you that you're already insane or that you will become so. That's the last thing I wrote on Discord. Because when we know, when we know things, us intuitives, diviners, mystics, when we know things, it can often be seen as insane. And the way we respond to the things that we know, it can be seen as insane from the people around us. They see it as insane, like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Because they don't understand, they haven't seen what we've seen. If they understood, if they knew what we knew, then they would see we're not insane. But they think we are, and so they try and convince us. So it's up to us to remember that the reason we're doing things is to create positive changes. The reason we're taking this action or saying this thing is because we know something needs to change, and we're changing it, and we see the results as positive. We need to hang on to that If we lose sight of that, then yes, we will start to see ourselves as insane as well. We will start believing others when they call us insane. Streamlabs, resources to help with mental health. Live streaming can be a lot of pressure. It's important to take care of yourself both mentally and physically. Thank you for the reminder. Part of that is taking breaks when you need them, eating healthy and getting enough sleep. It's also important to be aware of the signs of burnout and take action to prevent it. Visit the mental health hub. Definitely going to check that out later. What are the signs of burnout? I know some symptoms and signs, but maybe they have more that I'm not aware of. "36 minutes online." Okay, I'm gonna read for myself now. Yes, Mr. Subin, your cards did show burnout. But I'm mostly talking about me now, you know? But I did see the Sun card in reverse for you, and that does talk about burnout, exhaustion. And the result of that exhaustion is like not being able to keep up with self-care. And not being able to take action towards your own priorities and your own projects. But you've got to take action. You've got to change the way you interact with other people. Set boundaries and then start doing things, you know, instead of just thinking about them. Oh, I've got this magnificent idea on how I can make some money or how I can develop my psychic abilities, and they're not doing any of it. Or coming up with this fantastic plan on how you can change things and have a more comfortable life, and they're not doing it. Casting a spell and then not taking action, just laying back and waiting for the universe to click into place. The universe does click and tick and shift when you cast a spell, but there are still requirements of you. Like, you are part of the things that shift and click. You're one of the gears, and if you don't move, the clock doesn't move. If you think about it like this, there are many realities that exist simultaneously, right? Just a paradigm that I'm throwing out there. And when you cast a spell, you're causing two realities to line up, to overlap. You have to change your behavior in order to jump from the one to the other. Yes, in that moment while they're overlapping, when you cast the spell, you are in both realities, but then they're going to shift away. And if you haven't changed your habits to match the other reality, when it shifts away, you're going to still be in the reality you started off in. That's the point. And you will see all the signs, all the synchronicities of all the gears coming into place and the realities lining up. But you're going to have to make a shift in order to stay with the new reality when it moves away. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the old one. Back to doing my reading. So I'm processing some weird emotional shit since yesterday. Like yesterday, I noticed just how much of an emotional impact someone else had on me. Like, someone else got really bleak and miserable and like started projecting and yelling, and it affected me way more than I would have anticipated or expected, way more than usual. And then later in the evening, some really little things triggered me big time, and I was like, holy shit, I'm feeling all of these. I don't respond. I feel all of these difficult feelings. I don't let it sabotage my life. I don't do anything with them. Like if I feel frustration, I don't do something sabotaging or spiteful or aggressive. I feel it, I just observe it and be like, holy shit, I'm feeling this. And it's like, it doesn't seem proportionate, it seems disproportionate. Like what just happened doesn't seem to be that much of a big deal, yet I feel inside like it's such a big deal. So I want to understand what's going on for me there, why I feel that way, why I have been feeling that way. Like even today with this light not working, it felt like such a big deal. And I just said to myself, look away. Just look away from the light, pretend it's not off, pretend it's on. Because it doesn't really make much of a difference, it's the middle of the day. You can fix it later. It's working now, but anyway, it felt like a much bigger deal than it was. So what's going on with me, hey? What's going on with me? Knight of Wands? Really? Knight of Wands? Knight of Wands, it tells me that like I'm going through a rebirth in my passions, things that I'm passionate about. And the expression of my passion. So weird. It does not resonate. Maybe it does. It's telling me that I'm re-examining my intentions. I'm destroying my old intentions and choosing new intentions. The things that I desire, things that I used to desire or think that I desired, are not what I desire, and it's changing. Maybe. It seems to be. I need more clarity there, like seriously, that doesn't help me much. Thanks. But, okay. What more? What else? Shit. There it goes again. 8 of discs. Oh my god. Why? Why can't it just be easy stuff, you know? For a change. Why must it always be struggle? Why must all the cards be about, like, pain and rebirth and adjustment? Letting go of habits and adapting new habits. Letting go of attachments and lifestyle. Why can't things just be easy for a little while? You know, why must it always be uphill? Why can't it be, like, level or downhill for a little while? With that card, the 8 of discs is like saying I must be more prudent with my time and my resources and my money, and that there are changes to certain habits and certain aspects of the way that I do things and what I'm used to doing that I need to change still. And that's what I'm going through. Those things are all changing. And it's this little thing and that little thing, and I guess I understand. It's like, can't use an electric frying pan anymore, can't use a desktop computer anymore, can't use a kettle, can't use an electric kettle anymore. Those things have to change, and so these little adjustments in lifestyle are very frustrating. And there's so many of them. It's like not just one thing that's shifting, it's so many things that are shifting. They're all small, but there's so many of them. And that's why it feels so overwhelming. That's why every little thing feels like such a big deal. Thanks, that's a little bit more clarifying. It's not what I wanted to hear though. Didn't want to hear it. But okay. so bright. Not in here. In here it's not so bright. But outside it's so bright. And so hot. And so humid. It's crazy, man. It's just crazy. Okay, I'm laying a spray now. I'm just laying a spray. Warm my heart and my head. 6 of Swords in reverse. What? Okay, I see it. I thought I dealt with it. I guess it is. It's coming to a close now. So 6 of Swords is like in my relationships, in my friendships, in my online circles, in my partnership. Others, they do things differently. They do things better. Well, not really. Not better. But like, here's an example. Okay, so my partner, she gets a lot more interaction on her channel. People follow her, they give her tips, she gets so much support and so much interaction and so much growth so quickly, and I don't. My growth is very slow, very, very slow. I've been studying mysticism and tarot and art for years, but she has only been doing it for months, and yet her growth is so big and mine is so small. Technology is like a second language for me. So all of her whole stream, all of the technology is like, I set it up. It's all a copy of what I do. And so this card is like, I feel like I'm undervalued. It's what it's talking to me about. It's like saying you're feeling undervalued. Like you give so much. Everything rests on you. Like this whole farm, this whole piece of land, this whole house, all the people who live on it and who are supported by it, they stand on it like I'm a foundation, and they stand on the foundation, and yet they get all the recognition. It's like the floor of the house is so important, but nobody pays any attention to the floor. It's like that. Local at El Taka. The Knight of Fire strives for his passions and desires, and the 8 of Discs is comfort achieved through work and persistence. Thank you for your input. Much appreciation. Striving for his passions and desires. 8 of Discs, comfort achieved through work and persistence. I feel it's a little more complex than that. I feel like the 8 of Discs is more about establishing balance between income and expense. It's about creating a sustainability, the 8, that figure 8 motion. So depending on your circumstances, that could look like letting go of comforts, or comforts you've been used to. It's like prudence. The card is literally called prudence. Love the thought deck. You're on the right track, my friend. Thanks. I still feel very stagnant or overwhelmed. You come in to hear about 8s. Divinity, Lioness. Divine Lightness. So what's your take on the Six of Swords then, my friend, Loco Taka? I understand it's like overcoming limitations, like evolving past your limits through interaction with others. Kind of like study group. That's kind of what it talks to me about, is like a study group, that kind of vibe. In reverse, it's like the other people in the study group undervalue, or they're placing higher value on the piece of information they have to give, on the value they have to offer, placing less value on what others have to offer, as if their piece of the puzzle or their knowledge is more important than the next person's knowledge. Yes, of course, Divine Lioness, you may ask a question, but I'm going to read for myself first. Oh, the Knight of Wands is back in the spread, so it fell out as a wild card. Here he is again, and he's reversed. On its side is infinity, never ending. Exactly. That figure 8 motion is about sustainability, balance. You know, if you're spending more than you're earning, there's no balance, and it's not sustainable, and it's going to come to an end at some point. Your lifestyle is going to come to an abrupt end. You have to make changes and shifts to balance the two, even if that means letting go of things you've been used to enjoying. But it also, yeah, like you said, achieving a state of comfort. Once you find that balance and you get used to that balance, it is comfortable. It is comfortable in that. The process of arriving into the balance, though, that can be uncomfortable. Knight of Wands. You say striving towards passions and desires. Yes, I definitely feel that motivated energy from this card. However, I feel like he has to let go. Knight is number 13. It's the 13th of the court cards of the minor arcana. And 13 is about death. Death of the old, birth of the new. So there's strong motivated passions, but it's for something new. Like what you were motivated or passionate about is no longer. It's something different now. The motivated energy that was there, so if I give an example, really highly motivated about agriculture and permaculture, that motivation has died out, that flame has burned up. Now I'm highly motivated and passionate about streaming. You know, that's like the kind of energy I get from a reversed knight, particularly reversed, in that shifting is not, it's not healthy. You know, you need to still work on a thing, even if your motivations die out. You need to continue working on it. You can't pick up new projects based on motivation, because motivation is temporary. You got to pick up your projects based on your inspiration, because yeah, motivation is like a fire. It burns down when there's no fuel for it. Inspiration is like a mountain. Yes, sometimes the clouds cover it and you can't see it, but it's still there, and it will be visible again. So it's kind of talking about that for me. It's saying that the motivation energy has died out regarding certain projects, certain desires. Interesting. Prince of Cups in the future. Prince of Cups. This is like making breakthroughs in your emotional being and your creativity. Making breakthroughs in the expression of your emotions through creativity, through creative projects and creative action. Making those breakthroughs by deliberately facing blockages or challenges that you've been experiencing. What does this look like? Okay, that Prince of Cups, it's kind of talking to me about confronting certain people in my life. So I have been observing, like I've been walking into situations and interacting with people, and the things they're saying and doing are creating these intense emotional experiences in me, intense emotional triggers, and I'm not speaking or acting in that emotion because I know if I do, it's going to create disharmony. I'm going to do harm. Those emotions are too intense. If I speak or act while experiencing those emotions, I'm going to do harm. I'm going to create turmoil. So instead, I'm keeping myself quiet, enduring, and observing the feeling, just observing it. But what that card is saying to me is that I need to make a breakthrough, and to do that I have to confront these individuals regarding those experiences. But yeah, not in the moment when I'm overwhelmed by the difficult emotions. Now, post experience, going back to it and saying, hey, this is how that thing affected me, just by the way. Or saying, hey, listen, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of these responsibilities and I don't feel like you are carrying your weight, or whatever it might be. But yes, the confrontation, that's what that card is talking about for me. It's about the confrontation. That is where I'll find the breakthrough, is in the confrontation. Deliberately facing the challenge, and I'll make a breakthrough. So Divine Lioness, please go ahead and ask now. I'm finished with my reading. My voice is like weird and hoarse today. Yes, in order to get change, make change with action. You know, that's one of the biggest lessons of the tarot, is that nothing happens without setting an emotion, and everything you set in motion will return, whether it was positive, whether it was constructive or deconstructive. Everything you set in motion will have its effect on reality, but nothing will affect reality if it's not set in motion. In the next lesson of the tarot, so that's the lesson of 1. The lesson of 1 is setting things in motion. It's not just you, Loco. Thank you for pointing it out. The audio is out of sync. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Yeah. It fluctuates for some reason. Don't know why. When I started out, my voice was ahead of the video. Now the video... when I started out, my video was ahead of my voice. Now my voice is behind the video. I don't know why it fluctuates like that. The second lesson of the tarot, number 10, is that misfortune is a choice. That you set something in motion, you plant, right? You plant seeds, you start your manifestation process. It all comes full circle. And yes, it might feel like the universe has brought about unforeseen events and impossible circumstances that destroyed all of your efforts, but you still learned through the process. You still learned something, and you were in a better position to succeed next time. But if you don't acknowledge your own part to play, if you don't see your own success and you don't see your own mistakes, then you haven't made any progress. You haven't learned a single thing, and that is misfortune. So it's up to you. If you want to blame the environment, if you want to blame others, misfortune, you've chosen misfortune. But if you take responsibility for your own part to play, for your own successes and your own failures, you are still succeeding, regardless of whether or not the project you worked on failed or succeeded. Those are the biggest lessons of the tarot. You would like to know if your partner had left his ex behind finally. He started talking to her when we were in separation. Shit. Fuck. Fuckity shit. That sucks. That's so inconsiderate and so disrespectful to do that. His name is Josh. I remember that his name is Josh because I remember you were asking me if you should move. You think he was very confused. Yeah, I understand your compassion, and I commend your compassion and your empathy. Still sucks that you would do that though. Okay. Okay. So what advice do the spirits have for Divine Lioness regarding this relationship with Josh and his relationship to his ex? It was heartbreaking when she reached me, but I know she was trying to cause upheaval with us. Fuckity shit, man. My partner's ex contacted me not too long ago, trying to sow discord and disharmony into the relationship, spinning slander and lies about her and her past to try and make me distrust her. I just gave him tarot readings. I could see him clearly, and so I just gave him readings that helped him be aware of himself and his manipulative behavior. Hey Psyches. Alright, so on behalf of Divine Lioness, is Josh moving on from his ex? The pendulum is swinging side to side, and that's a no. He's not moved on, and he's not trying to move on. He's like indulging memories and thoughts and feelings instead of trying to move on from them and focusing on the present. He's living in the past. Art number 14 is your Temperance. 14 is your tarot card, the advice from the tarot. It's saying to you that you guys are a good match. You guys work together well in every aspect of your lives. You and him. And you support one another's projects. Like if he's working on something, your information, your creativity, your experiences support him and help him succeed in that, and vice versa. It also talks about like complementing one another, bringing out the best in each other. Like if you're having a little bit of a meltdown or breakthrough, he brings balance or temperance to it, and vice versa. So it's kind of saying that he's going through that. He's going through that imbalance, living in the past instead of in the present. Instead of learning from the past, fixating on it, obsessing about it, and all of this emotional turmoil coming up with it. And you can provide the temperance, you can provide the balance, you can re-establish balance. So 1 and 4 is 5, and 5 is about examples. It's the Hierophant of being an example. So I kind of feel like this card not only is saying you can bring temperance to the relationship as he brings temperance to you, you bring temperance to him, he supports you, you support him, and you do this for each other through example. And so yeah, be an example, and you can help bring him back into the present. You live in the present, you focus on the present. Yeah, not letting your thoughts take you into the future and worrying about the future, or going back into the past and obsessing about it. Stay in the present and live with the present, and that'll be an example for him, and it will help bring temperance and balance to him. Okay, so I'm going to adjust my ping again. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, I don't have to. It's gone. It's fixed itself. Fluctuating up and down, up and down. He harps to you about letting go of the past. Yes, well, you know, we often delude ourselves. We often like try and convince others of the things we don't believe, that we're struggling to believe about ourselves. And also, words are not important. Like, people can talk to me until they're blue in the face. I'm just gonna smile and wave and nod and agree. And you know, their words mean absolutely fuck all to me. It's their action. It's the action that matters. So yeah, he can talk to you about letting go of the past, but if by his example he's showing you that he hasn't, then the words mean nothing. So yeah, you've got to be an example, so he can follow the example. Never mind his words. He denied getting involved with her. Ish. That's a difficult situation. Like, I don't know how your relationship looks and how it works, and what the dynamics are. In my relationships, though, like, if someone fucks up, I'm happy to forgive them. You know, that's how it works. We forgive each other. We're all human. We make mistakes. But if you want to acknowledge that you made the mistake and you deny it, that's a bit of a deal breaker. Like, I'm here, I'm ready to forgive you, I'm ready to help you grow, but if you're deliberately choosing misfortune, you're basically saying to me that you are prepared and planning to repeat your mistake, and that, I can't stand for that. You have to acknowledge your mistake. You have to acknowledge you were in the wrong and take responsibility. You're trying to leave it in the past since we're moving forward in huge ways. I'm curious if you're still talking to her now in secret, and if you will close the door on her. Psyches, how am I doing today? So yesterday and today I have been dealing with a lot of strange emotions that seem completely disproportionate to the events that are taking place around me. I'm feeling these very strong emotional responses to things that are not all that significant. And so I was doing a reading for myself a little earlier as to why that's happening. And basically the tarot is saying to me that there are so many small changes that are happening, and that's why it's like, yes, there's one small thing, it's just so many of them, it's piling up. And so then one small thing happens and there's a huge response, because so many small things are changing at a very rapid rate. And so yeah, what I'm practicing is equanimity and just observing instead of reacting to the emotion, instead of doing something deconstructive as a result of the experience, to just observe it and be still with it, still through the storm. And then the tarot was suggesting to me that I confront these people and these circumstances and events once the storm is past, and once I've recovered balance and temperance, and then to go and confront the situation. Eclipse energy bringing big changes. What is eclipsing? I didn't see any eclipse. No, where's the eclipse? When's the eclipse? I saw the blood moon. It wasn't very bloody for me, from where I am. I've seen much bloodier moons, is what I'm saying, basically. I know Mercury's in retrograde, or he was. Is he still? I don't know. I'm not paying all that much attention. Lunar eclipse. But when? Because, like, the moon... When? Well, I guess it could have been any time. It could have been any time, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean I would have seen it, because it would have happened, yeah. It's not currently happening. It didn't happen last night when I was looking at the moon, or the night before when I was looking at the moon. So, I don't know. It could happen anytime. Retrograde, eclipse, full blood moon, Sunday eclipse happened. Sunday, okay. Yeah, I was watching the full moon on Sunday. I didn't notice the eclipse. But how are you doing, Psyches? Before I end your reading, Divine Lioness, I'm gonna just get that bit of confirmation for you. On behalf of Lioness, is Josh still communicating with his ex? Okay, the pendulum is saying no. So that is forward motion, you know? That is you guys moving forward. Not at all, it's not cheeky at all, you know? I'm here to give away readings today, aren't I? So I can definitely give a reading for you. Amazing. And just by the way, Divine Lioness, this thing has never lied to me. Sometimes I've thought it's lied to me, and I've gotten really frustrated and angry about it, and then it was just me being impatient, and a little bit of time proved the pendulum was right. So, yeah, just mentioning that. None of my pendulums have lied to me, basically. So Psyches, I can go ahead and do a general reading for you, or you can ask a question. But I'm going to lay the spreads along, because in my experience, it doesn't matter if I've already shuffled or not when you ask the question. Okay, just general. Welcome, Jilly Jules. Jilly's Jules. Thank you for joining us. I hope you will find value here in the stream, and I hope that you'll become a regular member of our community. What general advice do the spirits have for psyches? Three of Cups in reverse. This card is about filling your own emotional cup. It's like about being aware of what's required of you in order to fill your own emotional cup. So if we look at a real world example, it's like I'm feeling drained, and I recognize that it's because I'm not giving myself the attention and care that I need. And then I'm aware, okay, what I need to do is take a moment to meditate and ground myself. I'm aware that I need to cleanse and do like a bathing cleanse and really take my time with a gentle relaxing bath with some essential oils. And then do some deep scrying with my scrying bowl to understand what's going on with me in the situation. So being aware of what's necessary and what's required in order to fill my own cup. But this card is in reverse. So it's kind of like thinking the things you require. It's like mismatching what you actually require with things you think you require. Like those things I described, I might replace that by saying, yeah, what I need is to sit down and have a coffee and think and get more caught up in my brain. Or I think what I need to do is sleep, but that's not what I need to do. I need to meditate and focus and cleanse. Or I think what I need to do is eat a piece of chocolate. So yeah, this is in the past. It's something that's coming to a close. It's basically feeling like your cup is not filling up, like you're not filling your cup or giving yourself what you need, but then thinking what you need is actually something you don't need. I hope that makes sense. The words are not matching up. Like the way I want it to sound it's not coming out that way, but I think you understand what that card is saying. In the present there's a Six of Wands. So that card, it first wants to commend you and say, well done, you've had desires that you want to manifest, and you've set intentions in motion towards that manifestation, and you committed to it. You went through the whole process, you put one foot in front of the other, you did what you could according to what you have been doing what you can, according to what you know and what resources you have access to. But in the present but you still had limits on how much you knew and how much progress you could make towards your goals, towards your desires. But now in the present you're overcoming those limitations. You are interacting with people, other people who are doing the same, doing the best that they can towards their outcome, towards their manifestations. And they have little pieces of the puzzle, they have little ideas, or they have levels of motivation that inspire you or motivate you. Their example basically motivating you. Basically the card is saying you're breaking through your limits through the example of others, and others around you are breaking through their limits through your example. You have ideas, you have knowledge, you have tools, and you are an example that they're missing, that they needed to see, and they have it for you as well. And this is just people you have a close connection with. It's not a relationship, it's not a specific individual, it's all of the people that you have strong connection to, a strong intimate connection to, whether it's romantic or platonic, family or friend. It's a commending card. It's like you're on the right track and you're making progress. Future interval card is number 19. It's the Sun, and this card is encouraging you to be authentic, to remain authentic. What's opening up for you is authentic existence, is you just being authentic, and that having a very positive effect on your relationships and your life and your lifestyle and your projects and everything about your reality. Your authenticity gives your environment its potential to bring forth abundance. Your authentic expression is what brings your projects and the things you set in motion into their completion. It's what allows things, your desires, to manifest, is you existing authentically and expressing your passions authentically. Your relationships and the people who know you are inspired by you and enjoy your company when you are authentic. And that's what's on the horizon for you. Just continue authentically and there will be so much abundance for you. And the card also wants to just warn you and say, don't ever people please. Don't ever change your authentic being or your authentic expression in order to please someone or avoid upsetting someone. And don't sacrifice of your priorities for the sake of pleasing someone. Don't sacrifice of what you need to get done authentically for someone else's sake, because that will drain you. That will leave your cup empty. Like if you're deliberately pushing energy out, you're going to run out of energy. You naturally radiate energy, and if you are being authentic, that radiance is enough. And that's your reading there. Sorry about the troll, but he just doesn't really understand what's going on. Heavenly Faith is talking about something that's gonna happen. Jesus is gonna come. 5D Earth is coming. Kairos and whatever is happening. It's all happening, and you got to do this before Doomsday. Doomsday is already here. 5D Earth has already come. Christ consciousness has already returned. Just by the way, Heavenly Faith, all these things that you're waiting for in the future are actually taking place in the present. So stop looking into the future and start living the present. Stop warning people that they need to change before this thing happens, because that thing is already happening. Let he who is righteous go on being righteous. Let he who is unclean go on being unclean. That is written in the New Testament. Please go and read the Bible again, because it seems that you haven't read it. You're welcome, Psyches, and thank you so much for expressing your appreciation. Thank you. The present, the gift of now, exactly, just as Loco El Taco says. Exactly. The Holy Spirit will guide. The Sacred Spirit does guide. And that's why I'm here, isn't it? To share that Sacred Spirit and that sacred guidance. Serenity of Soul would like reading about the tenant who is leaving today, about that situation. I hope that this reading will bring you serenity to your soul. Okay. What's on the playing field for Serenity regarding this situation with her tenant, or his tenant? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. I love this card. I don't know if you're going to love it so much. But this card is saying that all of the difficulty you've had with this tenant up until now, it's a reflection. Whatever you are seeing in them that you don't like, and all the responses you're getting from them that you deem to be unpleasant or unethical, it's all a reflection of yourself. All of it has been a reflection of you. And if there's anything about a tenant that you like or approve of, it's all just been a reflection of you. That's just like to help you have less tumultuous relationships with future tenants. It's just showing up to say, hey, future, if you recognize that whatever you don't like about them or whatever you do like about them is a reflection of yourself, it'll help you navigate through it easier. In the present, we have a 9 of discs. So that's about reflection on this period of like physical security. If your tenants are not paying you, you run out of security. If you evict them, they run out of security. So it's about self-reflection. Both of you are going to be reflecting on what you could have done better in your dealings together and how you could have secured one another better. What kind of mistakes you made in the process, like at what point were you to blame? If there's always a part to play, like yes, he had a part to play, he did things that are not right, that are unethical, I'm sure you did too. You got to acknowledge your own part to play as well as others' parts to play in your mistakes, but also acknowledge your successes in the ways that you did actually make breakthroughs, in the ways that you could help your tenant when he was struggling or when he was having a hard time with whatever it was, and you were flexible and you made things work, and the ways that you made breakthroughs and you were constructive. Acknowledge those things as well, so you can repeat those methods in the future, as well as avoiding your mistakes. Oh, you don't do anything bad. That's a load of bullshit. Everyone does bad things. Future, 8 of discs. That is prudence, making adjustments to your lifestyle and habits. Because now you're not going to have a tenant in this place. That means less income. That means having to let go of certain luxuries, certain habits, certain lifestyle in order to re-establish your balance. But please be mindful to take responsibility for yourself and your part to play, especially when it comes to difficult tenants, because you always will have a part to play. Yes, they will have parts to play, but you will as well. And if you don't acknowledge your own part to play, you will just repeat the same difficult pattern again and again with difficult tenants. You have to see yourself. And yes, future interval is making adjustments to re-establish balance, because less income means having to adjust your expenses. I'm glad you were respectful. I hope it's true. I'm sure it's true, actually. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that you were respectful, but that's one of your successes. So well done, you have acknowledged your success. You must also acknowledge your mistakes, where they were. What part did you have to play in the way things escalated? Perhaps you don't listen in on your neighbors' conversations, but you do seek the guidance you do consult with mediums and spirits, and you do like pry into the thoughts and happenings of others in other ways, you know. But I'm not here to point all those things out to you. You must see yourself for yourself. It's not my job. You just want to know if he hurts you or damages you when he goes. Well, as the card said, you're going to have to make some adjustments, because when he goes, you know, what he was paying you goes with him. And so for a little while anyway, you're going to have to change the way you do things to make ends meet. You don't have to convince me of anything, Serenity. You don't have to convince me of anything. Local Eltaka says, through emotions of emotions you kick out the material gain, and you will need to work hard to stay ahead. It does affect you though, it's not your problem. It does affect you. But that 8 of discs is also saying that whatever changes you make are going to be in your benefits, you know? It's going to be in your interest. It's more authentic, whatever changes you're going to have to make. Not only to your lifestyle, but whoever you put in there afterwards, you know? Whatever tenant goes in there next, it's going to be closer. Aren't you rich, Serenity? I feel very rich. I feel very rich. Even if my income is very small, I feel very wealthy. Are you not rich? That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear it. In my experience, true wealth comes from inside. So you become wealthy once you become wealthy inside. And then you start to realize, oh, you actually are rich. And then you want for nothing. And thank you. You're most welcome. Aye, it doesn't matter. Serenity of soul, remember your name. Loco El Taco says, my earthly worth is not measured in money. Exactly. Streamlabs is promoting self-care guides and tutorials and resources to help cope with mental health, the mental health strains of live streaming. I'll definitely check that out. I have some ideas, but you know, I'm sure they've got some ideas that I didn't think of yet. Oh, look at that. Fireball Barney is messaging me. replying to a text I sent him yesterday. I'm not going to read it out loud because, you know, it's private stuff. Hey, Fireball Barney, I was just reading your response on Discord. And there's no one else in the queue, so I will read for you right away. Well, not right away. I'm first gonna go and use the toilet, and then I'll read for you.
My love, I just want to say you don't have to rush with streaming today. I think I'm gonna see about how I feel about streaming today, so don't rush to end or anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You have a love question when I'm ready. Okay, so I'm gonna use the toilet, and then I'll be ready. Okay. So interesting. Of course, no problem. So I'm ready for your love question, by the way. You can give it to me whenever you're ready. Oh, there's also this deck here, the Modern Witch Tarot, which is like the Rider-Waite, but just with a more modern spin. Maybe you'd like a reading from there. Or maybe you'd like the traditional one, you know, the one we usually use here, the Thoth Tarot. So this woman, I would like to know if it is just flirting, if what she says is real, she doesn't have feelings for me, or if she is just scared of me. Because I don't like to flirt, especially when you don't have feelings, but I have fallen for her. Lol. Yeah. A lot of people do that, I notice. A lot of people flirt casually, and it's not very compassionate, because their words are having all kinds of effects, and they don't want to take responsibility for it. They want to feel like they're justified, and it's okay. What does your inner knowing say about it though, Barney? You don't know how to tell her to stop without being in her face rude about it. It says she does have feelings, but I feel a lot of people have feelings. But when you ask, they avoid it. Interesting. That's difficult. It's a unique situation I feel you are in. All the women in my life, and most of them always come back and say, well, you went wrong, and it becomes, sorry love, you were too late. Okay. Well, you don't have to be in her face rude about it in order to set a boundary. You can just say to her, hey, I need to tell you something. We have spoken about our feelings, or have you? Have you expressed to her how you feel? I guess that's the only way that you know she doesn't have feelings for you, is because you've expressed yourself to her. So then going back to that conversation, bring it up and say, hey, look, we had this conversation. You expressed to me that you don't have feelings for me, and you know that I do, because I've expressed that. I have feelings for you. And I find it to be discompassionate that you continue to flirt with me casually, knowing the impact that your words have, and I'd like to ask you to stop. You don't have to be rude about it. And yeah, setting that condition down, then it forces her to either say, but I actually mean the things that I say, or it'll be like, okay, fine, I'll back off. So to get the clarity you're looking for, you're going to have to set a boundary down. You have to confront the situation. Like for me as well, the tarot has been saying to me, I need to confront certain situations where certain people have been saying or doing things that's creating a strong emotional response in me. In the moment I don't respond to it, I just observe it, keep it inside, because I know responding to it, acting within the emotion, is not going to be beneficial to anything or anyone. But the tarot is saying, now that the storm has passed, I'm no longer feeling those things anymore, I must go back and confront those situations and put the boundaries down. Otherwise I'm not going to find a breakthrough. Yeah, it does hurt if she doesn't. Yeah, I get you. I get you. It is very difficult. You know, setting boundaries is a scary thing, because if someone doesn't respect your boundary, then it means that you can't have them in your life. And that's a scary prospect. But you know, do you really want people in your life who won't respect boundaries? Like, if you ask yourself seriously, do you want to have people in your life who are not going to respect your boundaries? But here we go. What advice do the spirits have for Fireball in this relationship circumstance? On behalf of Fireball, does she have feelings for him? So it's a very gentle yes. Very, very gentle yes. Very subtle backwards and forwards swinging. So it's saying yes, she has feelings for you, but you're not going to be able to benefit from it. It's not going to turn into a relationship. She's not going to be honest about it because it's very gentle, it's very subtle, and yeah. She's not going to express it, and it's not going to turn into the relationship you're hoping it'll turn into, or that you want from it. Loco Eltaka says women make decisions with their cups and men make decisions with their swords. That is not true. Men make their decisions with their cups as much as with their swords, and women make their decisions with their swords as much as with their cups. All men and all women are influenced by their emotional tugs. If someone says something nasty to you and you feel betrayed, you're going to say something spiteful back. That's a decision made out of an emotional impulse, whether you're male or female. Yeah. It doesn't lean one way or the other. Men just react differently to their emotions than women do. I'm not attached to the situation anymore, just confusion. Fireball Barney says, cool, thank you. No, it's not try. No, it's not try. Huh? They mean genitalia. Lol. I think. Not true about genitalia. Not everyone is a horn dog. Eight of Swords. That was a little bit confusing, to be honest. No, it's not try. Lol. I'm talking emotions and thoughts, not genitals. Oh, now I understand. Now I understand. Yeah, I figured it out. I figured Barney. I got it. I don't know if Loco got it yet, but I got it. Eight of Swords. Maybe you're the horn dog because your dirty mind is the one who translated cups and swords into genitalia. Also, just another side note is that swords don't only represent thoughts, they also represent spirit. Cups don't only represent emotion, they also represent creativity. Yeah, creative energy. Eight of Swords here for you, Barney. This is the past interval, and yeah, it's about changing. It's about shifts and adjustments in your goals and your thought processing patterns. And these were changes you chose to bring about. You shifted your goals. You brought about a close to the old things that you worked on, and you opened a new goal, started a new process. You identified that old thought patterns were not serving you, and that you were getting caught up in obsessions and just getting caught up in the mind and the headspace, and decided that you wanted to make a change and needed to make a change. And it was a healthy change. The shift maybe has been uncomfortable, but yeah, the adaptation brings you closer to authenticity. It brings you closer to something that is true for you. Goals that resonate with you, not girls, goals. Goals that resonate with you. And a healthier, more constructive thought processing pattern. I feel like it's talking about getting caught up in confusion, allowing multiple thought processes to pull on each other. Like, it's probably this way, but maybe it's that way, and then getting confused. Instead of relying on that inner knowing that knows which reality is actually true and what the truth of the situation is. Nine of Discs is in the present. So this is like asking you to reflect on your past relationships, particularly physical, sexual relationships, and these women that you've had attractions to and that you have developed feelings for, and you have spoken to them about your feelings, and then they deny it, but then later come back and it's too late now, honey. It's saying reflect on that, because there is a part that it's saying you are reflecting on that in the present, and it just wants to say to you that you have a part to play. Like, you could have been, you didn't have to turn away. Like, they turned away when you expressed your feelings, and then they came back and expressed their feelings, and you turned away. You didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do back to them what they did to you. You could have forgiven, forgotten, and said, okay, well, I'm still happy to start developing a relationship with you now. And in the future, again, like if she comes back in the future and she's like, you were not wrong and I have feelings for you and I actually think we should work on a relationship, you don't have to turn to her and say, well, I've let go of it and I don't feel anything for you anymore. You don't have to do back to her what she did to you. Hey Vic, welcome. Future interval 3 of discs. This card is reversed. So this card is kind of saying to me that you are very emotional, like you're very quick to form an emotional attachment to someone you're close to, a woman in your life, even a man. Not maybe a romantic connection to a man, but forming a connection and a bond very quickly. And same with a woman. And it takes longer for other people to form the same bond. And also it's saying that is detrimental, that constantly forming connections and those connections being broken and your heart getting sore, and then the confusion, and then another bond to someone else in the same process, that rapid shifting, that rapid connecting to people and then being broken off, and then connecting and then being broken off, is detrimental to your physical security. It's detrimental to your financial goals, your like material reality, and your health, your physical health. It creates stress, and as we know, stress has its impact on the physical health. It has expenses. You take people out on dates, you buy them gifts, and it absorbs your attention and your focus, and then you don't do so well at work, or whatever the case might be. It's saying that tendency to create a bond very quickly and then get it broken off, and then create a bond very quickly and then get it broken off, is detrimental to your physical security. That's basically all it has to say. I guess the advice it has for you is that you don't have to follow every connection. You don't have to follow through with every connection. You can also sometimes wait. You can sit back and wait for others to come to you and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. That tactic might work better for you. Yeah, I was being too logical as well in my thought process, in my dealings with spirit, also generally speaking, and I have been spiritually confused, as you know. Because I thought my main ones were my Reiki and Tarot. It turns out they are pushing me towards to be a medium, but this is a different conversation now. I will keep on topic. The one I did it to was years ago, and I wasn't ready, and she was a village bike. Lol. I love that. I love that you replace reality with symbols. Symbols of reality. And you know, that's literally how my brain works. As one who is schizo, everything is a symbol. There's no difference between reality and symbols. It's all one and the same thing. And I expressed my love for that one many times, and she said it would never happen, but still weighs on me that I turned her down. She was drunk at the time anyway. You know I love you, Barney. Zzz, lol. Yes, I am technically bisexual, not romantically. Bisexually, not romantically. Very interesting. And I do connect too easily with people, and it annoys me, and I really want to fix that. Lol. As I said, I'm not neurotypical either. Lol. Yeah. I just hate the loneliness and lack of companionship. There's an issue. That's what you must work on, Barney. That aversion that you have towards the loneliness and the lack of companionship, that is a resistance towards companionship and relationship. It's also an encouraging factor to you connecting to people. It's because you're so desperate not to be alone that you are very quick to form a connection. You're looking for excuses to make a connection, basically. Yeah. So working on that aspect of yourself, trying to let go of the aversion and become content with the loneliness. Like the number 9, the Hermit. There's an affirmation for the Hermit in the Gert Ziegler handbook, and that is, I am content with my own company, and I can stop being alone whenever I want. That's a healthy affirmation to help dealing with loneliness and feeling like there's a lack of companionship. Basically, accepting that you are okay being alone, that you are okay with your own company, and that you don't need to be lonely. You can be alone without being lonely. Like there's a song by Aurora where she says, she's talking to an ex-partner, and she's saying, you are the reason that I can be alone in a dark room without feeling lonely. Like the lessons I learned in that relationship taught me that I can be alone without feeling lonely. I see. I think the point that Spirit was trying to get across to you was, don't worry, you don't have to look. It'll happen when you least expect it. I see. You just don't know how to initiate the change or the shift. Okay, so Barney, when you are feeling lonely, like when the loneliness feels oppressive and dark, what do? Do you take out your phone or get onto your laptop and start chatting with people on social media? Because if that's the case, then that's how you can initiate the change. When you are feeling alone and lonely, instead of looking for company, meditate. Seek solace in spirit. That is how you can initiate a change. Thank you very much. I appreciate the gesture and look forward to it. But it's like you train your brain that those thought processes you're having are allowed if you give into them, if you react to them, if you give them what they're asking for. Like if you're alone and lonely and your thoughts are saying contact someone, get out of the loneliness by contacting someone, and then you do it, then that's how your brain gets out of loneliness. But if you say to it, no, I'm going to meditate and be comfortable with being alone and not be lonely, then your brain will find, okay, that's a solution to loneliness, is like self-reflection and focus. Honing your focus and self-development is how you cure loneliness, and that will become how you cure loneliness. Okay, cure is a wrong word, but yeah. Being alone and being lonely are separate. You can be alone without being lonely. That's the point. And you can be with many people and be very lonely. You can be surrounded by people and be loved by many people. Have a large family and huge friend groups and many partners and still be very lonely. So welcome everybody, everyone who is here. Fireball Barney's reading has come to a close, and that was the last reading in my queue. So if anyone wants a reading, please just let me know and I will do a reading for you. There are a few things that I need to do. But once, yeah, I don't know. At some point I'm gonna have to go and do them, but I'm thinking I'm not gonna end the stream. I'm just gonna like change what I'm doing. I have to end the stream, but I'll start a new one. Since my partner is not streaming today, I will close the tarot stream and open an art stream at some point. And in the interim I will go and do the things I need to do. Mr. Suman, I just want to remind you that I only give one free reading per viewer. Just reminding you. Thanks for sticking around. I do appreciate your company. And let me just bring up, thank you so much for the follow. And Loco El Taco says, thank you, mages. Thank you. Same to you. You know, I was gonna say that I'm doing a bit of a giveaway. I'm taking my stream off grid. Castle X Huma TV. Yes, I am offering readings, and I'll give one to you right away if you'd like. But yeah, I'm trying to take the stream off grid. Solar powered stream, basically, and we're getting there. I've got an inverter here and a charge controller, and there's a solar panel outside. There's also gas skis, there's gas stove, gravity powered water. So we're getting there. We're almost there. But help me out, guys, if you can, if you by the means. And there's a little bit of incentive. I'm giving away tarot deck. It's a little bit of a giveaway. And you join the raffle by sending a $9 donation minimum. You'll see these names here in the raffle already. And 21st of June, I'll announce the winner. Okay, Castle, please give me a question. Or I can read generally, it's up to you. But basically all of your donations are going towards taking the grid off stream and by making self-sustaining, self-sufficient lifestyle here. Okay, I'm gonna let you spread so long, because you know it doesn't actually matter if you ask your question before or after I lay the spread. It doesn't really matter. Just gotta establish a connection. Castle Lex Humor TV. So do you have a channel here on Twitch where you like stream or upload videos or something? What would be important at this time? So the first card that jumps up is number 5. Like literally as your message came through on the screen, or maybe not, as soon as I saw it. 9 of Wands. Art. Also known as Temperance. Okay, so this one jumped out and it's in the position of the present. It like directly addresses your question. What may be important at this time? Your example is very important at this time. That's what this card is saying. It's called the Hierophant. I don't know how familiar you are with the tarot, but number 5, the Hierophant, is about doing the best that you can with what you have at your disposal, with what you know and with what you have access to. Your example. You know, every one of us is an example to others. They look at how we progress, they watch our process in order to learn. So asking yourself, what are you teaching? This card is the right way around, which is saying that you are a good example to people. People who are following your example are improving their lives. You could be doing better. You could be more aligned with yourself. So it's kind of saying to you, be the example you're looking for. You're looking for an example. Others are following you as an example. So you need to be the example you don't have. You need to be the role model that you're not seeing. That's what's important right now. In the past, there's a 9 of Wands, and that 9 of Wands is like reflecting on your own intentions and desires. With whatever project it is that you've been working on, like maybe it's your channel, maybe it's an artistic project, maybe it's work, but the project is towards manifesting your desires. And this is you reflecting on those desires, asking yourself, are those desires actually authentic to who I am? Those things that I wanted, the reason I started doing this in the first place? And the intentions, what were my intentions? Were they to help others or were they to serve myself? And you're reflecting on this, you have been reflecting on this, and you are taking responsibility for yourself. You are acknowledging your own part to play. You're acknowledging your own mistakes. You're acknowledging your own ill intentions. You're also acknowledging your own successes, and you're acknowledging your own selfless intentions. So this is very encouraging to see, and this is kind of like a pat on the back saying to you, well done, because as you're self-reflecting and you're acknowledging yourself and taking responsibility, you avoid repeating mistakes from the past, and also you get to reapply your methods for success and breakthrough that you used in the past. If you're not taking responsibility, then you can't avoid mistakes and you can't recreate successes. So you are taking responsibility, and that is kudos to you. Future interval is number 14 of the trumps. It's called Art in the Thoth Tarot. The Thoth Tarot. This card is saying that what's on the horizon is a strong relationship, and this is not a new relationship. This is a relationship that you've already been in. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be platonic. It could be a business partnership. But basically, whatever you create or whatever your process is, it now is going to be supported by someone else who does something similar, and you're going to be supporting them as well, vice versa. This person, a way to identify who they are is someone that you go to for advice. It's someone who is able to re-establish balance or temperance to your emotional being. If you're having a bit of a breakdown or a panic attack, they're able to bring temperance and balance back to your emotional state and back to your life and your experience, and you do the same for them. So that's the relationship you're looking for. That's, well, you don't have to look for anything. It's going to happen whether you look for it or not. But that's on the horizon. It's basically a partnership between you and someone else that you have known and someone you have a strong connection to. And it's very beneficial. It's going to be very powerful. You know, you're powerful alone. you're an amazing example alone. Imagine how much more that will be. A very encouraging spread. I love these cards. A lot of just, you're doing well, stay on track. There are good things on the horizon that are about to expand your process and expand everything that you're doing. Firebody says, just a stray random thought. Can the tarot be used to tell someone what country the person they will end off with will be in or from? Never been asked to see that myself. Just wondering. I will never answer that question for someone, but I think it can. I definitely think it can. You know, there are so many symbols here. If you're asking that question and you turn over a card and you see, I don't know, a pomegranate. You turn over the death card and you see a pomegranate. Where do pomegranates originate? There you might have your answer. Probably do have your answer. But that's just an example. You know, you'll turn over a card and you'll see a symbol that is specific to a location, and that will be your answer. I've never answered that question, though I have been asked many times. I don't answer questions like that. I don't ask those questions to the tarot. Castle, I hope that resonates with you. I hope you got value from it. I hope it encourages you, gives you hope and inspiration. Where is everybody? None of my friends alive today. I know that my sister had a giant salt rock land on her head, so she's not streaming for that reason. She's recovering from her concussion. Thank you. I'm working on my art and channel, but something is guiding me to use my channel for spiritual advice. Well, interesting, because something has been guiding me to provide, well, to do art on my channel where I have been giving spiritual advice. That's where I started with tarot readings. And yeah, I've now been doing art streams as well. I'd love to get into digital art, you know, expand into digital art and take commissions and FTs and all of that jazz, but for now I must start with the tools that I have, which is paper and a pen. Those are the tools I've been using for a while, actually. It's paper, pen, and pencil. Different types of paper, different pencils, different pens. By the way, I find that I do give a lot of advice in my art streams. Like, most of the people who are chatting with me are asking me questions about trauma release. They're asking me about tantric ritual. So yeah, I'm drawing and we're chatting about mysticism and magic. So, you know, that could be like the shift that you make. You continue with the drawing, you continue with the art or whatever it is you're doing, and then just change the topics of conversation. And that's a difficult one, I know, because people and audiences, they bring their own topics, they bring ideas, they bring their energy in from whatever space they've just come from, and it takes quite a bit of emotional and mental discipline to keep on topic with what your purpose is, or the reason why you're here, or what value you have to offer. It's very easy to become caught up in what your audience is talking about and let that take you on a tangent. But yeah, you just gotta bring it back. You just gotta bring it back and say, hey, you know, actually we're talking about this. This is where we were. Bring it back. So weird, right? So weird. The whole thing is just so weird. But let me go. No, guys, I can still give away some more readings today. If anyone is interested. It seems that like very few people are streaming on Twitch today. Like there are no other tarot channels that come up today that are live, and none of my friends are online. Art, just chatting, gaming, none of them. It's very interesting. My castle, just out of curiosity, have you seen that email from Streamlabs about mental health and all that? Just curious about it. Curious if they had any cool tips in there. Maybe we can bounce some ideas on mental health and live streaming. Or maybe I'll just open it right now. Visit the mental health hub. Live streaming can be a lot of pressure. It's important to take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. Part of that is taking breaks when you need them. Eating healthy, getting enough sleep. It's also important to be aware of the signs of burnout and take action to prevent. Now I hope that I don't have to watch any videos. I really don't like watching videos. I would much prefer reading articles. I'm one of those, you know, old school internet users. Live streaming is demanding activity, crucial to remember to take care of your mental health. La-da-da-da. Advocate for others. As content creators and live streamers, you have a unique opportunity to raise awareness about mental health and advocate for those who may be struggling. Stream your best life. Be okay with taking breaks. Finding the right balance with streaming and having a life outside your stream is key to making it in the long run. Don't get burnt out. So I'm hoping for like pointers on signs of burnout, because I know signs of burnout for myself and symptoms, but you know, there might be more that I'm not aware of. Watch the video below. No, I'm afraid I'm not going to be watching the video. Not very much valuable information here. Anyway. Labels, labels, sales, sales, basically. Basically. So local Iltaka, would you like a reading? Because you've been here for quite some time. Just, yeah, interested to know if you'd like a reading. These like weird tendrils that come out of my hair are dreadlocks, by the way, guys. They are dreadlocks. been a fantastic stream, fantastic viewers and fantastic interaction. Though things have slowed down a bit now, it's been quite fantastic. Innovators. So I'm going to drop you guys off with innovators, and I'm going to go and sort out some of my responsibilities, and then I'll come back later for an art stream. I think that's right. Yes, it is. I think I have, it's case sensitive, eh? I have to capitalize and whatnot. Probably not case sensitive. So yeah, much appreciation, and yeah, see you later, or maybe not, definitely tomorrow.